Our Tembisa residents are hoping for a quiet night following 2 days of service delivery protests. Gauteng Cooperative Governance MEC, Lebogang Maile and Ekurhuleni Mayor Tanya Campbell are visiting that town earlier today. Newzroom Afrika's Ahmed Kajee live for us from the East Rand. Of course, the biggest issue, Ahmed, has been for the officials to try and explain to the residents why it is that 100 units of electricity that was given for free to all Ekurhuleni residents is now taken away.
Very much so, Kathy. That's one of the key things which Mayor Tanya Campbell had mentioned from Monday when the protest initially had begun here in Tembisa. We had spoken to the MEC for Community Development and the MEC for Finance, and they said due to Treasury's remodeling, that's the reason some of the financing and the billing systems regarding electricity and water had to be restructured. And this obviously means that electricity then needs to be paid by these residents here in Tembisa. And that's one of the many grievances which the residents have brought along as well. There has also been an inadequate supply of water to the area as well. These are some of the other grievances which are being brought to the fore. And then there's also the aspect of the increased prices of fuel as well as groceries. And that is obviously away from the government's control, in that this also has to do with global markets and, you know, what we have also seen in Russia and Ukraine. And that impact has now obviously made its way through to ground level as well. But in terms of Lebogang Maile and Mayor Tanya Campbell's visit today, before we just get into the response with regards to what the community had to say to their results, let's just take a listen to what MEC Maile mentioned to them earlier today when he visited the area.
We have already had a discussion and an agreement, for instance, with the Minister of Public Enterprises yesterday, through a text that there will be a meeting with the mayors in Gauteng on some of the issues that are frustrating them in relation to electricity, because you will know that there are issues that the Tembisa residents have raised, and those issues will require national and ESCOM to resolve. But there are issues that require the municipality to resolve, and we will urge the municipality to move quicker in resolving those issues. One of the issues that is affecting not only the Tembisa residents is the issue of the billing. It affects all of us. I'm affected as I speak to you. There's outages, there's load shedding, but we still receive huge bills. So those are some of the issues that we will require municipalities working with national to resolve them. The cost of living has been going high, and as you will have seen, the president attempted last week to deal with the issue of energy, the comprehensive plan, and there was no protest there. The Minister of Minerals and Energy has gazetted the issue of petrol, how we want to regulate it differently. There are interventions about little as it is, the 350 that is given since the COVID-19. So there are a number of interventions that have been taking place. So it's not like government is not doing anything at all. Most importantly, get government and its employees to at least spend what they have, because one of the biggest problems is that in certain instances, even if the resources are minimal, we don't spend them. And that's one of the biggest problems we are facing. So people don't have to protest for government to respond. Government is responding every day. The question is whether that response is adequate or not.
Of course, Ahmed, the big issue here is really the fact that the cost of living has gone up, and residents are feeling that what and how they used to spend their money is not taking them as far as it used to.
Very much so, Kathy, and that's something that we have seen across the country. And as MEC Maile said, it's something that's impacted him as well. But the main part around this is the cost of living in this particular area seems to be increasing significantly, and perhaps they're saying that in areas such as Soweto, where electricity isn't being paid for by the municipality and the residents, yet electricity supply continues in that particular area, even though it is maybe interrupted somewhat. They're saying in areas such as this one, where they are paying consistently, the electricity supply isn't consistent on that front, and then just overall increases around rates, taxes, taxi fares as well, which has been implemented in recent weeks as well. So the key element around what we have seen around this is the increased cost of living and the grievances around that. But the residents' reaction to MEC Maile and the Mayor Tanya Campbell visiting the area was very mixed. Many of them saying that they never really had any concrete reaction, any concrete promises as to what exactly the next step will be. They do understand that there will be a meeting from the mayor with some of the community members here on Friday. There wasn't one that was meant to take place last Friday. That did not take place, and that's when we had seen the protest starting out on Monday as well. But they say they want some concrete promises, some concrete reasons as to why we are seeing these changes in this particular community from the mayor. And obviously there is also the political aspect, which is also rearing its head when it comes through to situations like this, where there is the local government, provincial government and national government, or perhaps trying to work along providing service delivery. Lest we forget, there's also the element on the ground as well, with regards to the changing of administration and exactly what that means for service delivery and local governance in the area. So in terms of what we have seen over here over the last 3 days, it seems to be grievances on the ground, but they're also hoping and demanding that government brings the residents some sort of concrete promises as to what they can expect to ensure that service delivery does continue to be effectively implemented in an area such as this one. Kathy.
Ahmed, Kajee, let's leave it there for tonight.